Welcome back. All right, so it was an entertaining night of hockey, though for the teams I root for, not so much. It was a tough night. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off with Pittsburgh and Boston. And when Boston's off, they can be really off. So it's Nedeljkovic versus Swayman. And at 40 seconds, Marchand buries a loose puck at the net. Pastrnak and McAvoy with the assists. It's 1-0 Boston. Bruins press at 2 minutes, but then there's some pressure by the Penguins and they score. It's O'Connor from Letang and Eller at 5:04. He buries one into an open net. Then at 6:17, it's a point shot that goes in off one of the Boston defensemen. Graves with the goal from Crosby and Raquel. It's suddenly 2-1. But Boston gets that back 22 seconds later. Pastrnak scores from Lindholm and Geekie, and then less than a minute later at 7:21, Gensel scores from Crosby and Letang. So where's the defense? The answer is no. There's just no. There's no defense. It's not happening. Power play for Boston, that's killed off. The Penguins press with 7 minutes left. Eventually, they score the fourth goal of the period. It's Eller from O'Connor and Carlson at 15:58. So a very un-Boston-like period, and Pittsburgh will take it. Second period, shots are 2-0 Pittsburgh, 3.5 minutes in. There's a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off, but after it's done at 6:36, it's Carter scoring from Letang, makes it 5-2, and they were a post away from 6-2. But at 9:51, Geekie gets one of them back from Pastrnak and McAvoy at 9:51. McAvoy then has a shot that's held as the Bruins put on some pressure. We get a power play for Boston. Van Riemsdyk nearly scores. That's killed off. And then at 19:24, in the final minute of the period, DeBrusk scores from Carlo and Geekie. That makes it a one-goal game. We then had a power play for the Penguins early in the third period. At 3:05, it's a shorthanded goal for Boston. I feel like this is their first shorthanded goal of the season. I'm pretty sure it is. Marchand scores this one from Coyle, only because I was looking at stats and I noticed Boston didn't have any shorthanded points when I was looking at stats this morning. Bruins finish the kill. Shots are 5-2 Boston at 9 minutes. Things are going well until Pittsburgh gets power play and they score on it. It's Crosby, another goal from Sidney Crosby. He scores that one from Carlson at 11:19. That one deflected past the screen, and so it's 6-5 Pittsburgh. Bruins press with 3.5 minutes left. They'd pull the goalie, but Pittsburgh hangs on. So it's an 80s game because there's 10 or more goals in it. With this win, Pittsburgh goes to 19-14-4 with the loss. Boston 23-8-6 on the season. Shots on net 16-11 Pittsburgh in the first, 11-8 Pittsburgh in the second, 10-8 Boston in the third. Final shots 35-29 for Pittsburgh. Power plays, Pittsburgh 1 for 3, Boston 0 for 2. The hits 18-10 Pittsburgh. Nedeljkovic saved 24 out of 29 in the victory, and Swayman saved 29 out of 35. That's going to hurt his save percentage, but again, for Boston, it's a tough night, right? So these things happen. All right, next up, Buffalo and Montreal. So I promised Montreal fans I won't wear that sweater for a preview again. So it's Levi versus Allen. Caulfield has a rush chance is kicked aside. The shots are actually 2-0 Montreal 4 minutes in. They came out playing well. There's a post for Peterka on a rush chance. Strubal's out there throwing some hits. He's definitely endeared himself to the Montreal faithful. Ullinen nearly scores. Levi holds there. Levi really, really good tonight. He had family and friends in attendance. Strubel has a screenshot that's held. The Sabres press with 7 minutes left. We get a power play for Buffalo. Thompson's denied. Allen holds. Power play's killed off, and then Montreal gets a power play. There's a shorthanded Cousins rush that's defended, but they do kill that off. The Habs press after it's done. Things get pushy on a hold by Allen. Sabres press in the final minute, but puck goes the other way, and in the closing seconds, Suzuki's denied. So it's scoreless after one. Second period, Habs score, but there's a goalie interference challenge, and that one comes back. That was an Armia goal, I do believe. Dahlin has a wraparound that saved. We get a power play for Buffalo, and they score on it. Mittelstadt opens the scoring from Skinner and Dahlin at 5:33. And then the Sabres go back to the power play, and they score on this one as well. It's Skinner from Tuck and Thompson at 6:59. So 2 goals in less than a minute and a half. Suddenly it's 2-0 Buffalo. Habs look to answer. Caulfield has a blast that deflects out. The Habs press at 9 minutes. The Sabres press with 8 minutes left. They end up drawing themselves a power play. That leads to a shorthanded goal. It's Armia at 13:19. He stole that one from Dahlin and put it in the net. Habs then finish the kill, so it's only a 2-1 game. Habs press with 4 minutes left. With 2:01 left, the Habs get a power play. Anderson's denied during that. That's killed off. So we go to the third period with the score 2-1 Buffalo. Sabres press 3 minutes into the third period. The shots are 2-1 Buffalo at 4.5 minutes. The Habs press at 5 minutes. Looks like this one's going to be close, and then it wasn't. At 6:45, Quinn scores from Peterka and Clifton. The Habs would look to answer, but at 8:35, Thompson scores from Skinner and Tuck to make it 4-1. They pulled the goalie early, and at 14:31, Darlene hits the empty net. Mittelstadt with the assist. Montreal would get a power play. That was killed off. And then at 18:32, Tage Thompson with the second goal of the third period scores that one from Skinner and Quinn. Your final score is 6-1 for Buffalo. Your no mercy magnets right here. Buffalo goes to 16-19-4 with the win. Montreal 16-17-5 with the loss. Shots on net 15-13 Montreal in the first, 14-6 Buffalo in the second, 12-11 Montreal in the third. Final shots 38-33 for Buffalo. Power plays, the Sabres 2 for 4, Montreal 0 for 3. The hits 14-10 Montreal. Levi saves 32 out of 33. Again, he was excellent. Allen 32 saves on 37 shots. So for Buffalo, again, I don't expect them to go on a run. I'm not even going to say it. Nope. All right, next up. Chicago and the New York Rangers. Mrazek versus Shesterkin. There's an early press by Chicago. Cooley has a rush chance that's saved. The Rangers press at 5 minutes. There was a post for Fox. Puck's cleared out after that. Rangers had some momentum. In fact, at the half, the shot attempts are 13-2 for the Rangers. Tkachuk has a shot that's blocked. There's a near miss for Keandre Miller as the Rangers press. The Hawks press with 8.5 minutes left. At 13:59 on a 3-on-2 rush, 12:59 I should say, Panarin wires one, Lafreniere and Trocheck with the assists. So it's 1-0 Rangers. Trocheck then has a rush chance that saved. Donato to Bedard. There's a near miss there. It's 1-0 Rangers after 1. Second period, the Rangers press at a minute and a half. Entwistle can't bury one in close. Gutman had a rush chance that was held. Rangers press at 4 minutes. There's a power play for Chicago. That becomes 57 seconds of 4-on-4, meaning it's a Rangers power play on the other side. And they score on it. It's Kreider from Trocheck and Zibanejad at 7:23. They did review it to see if it was a kick, but the goal counts. So after that, the Hawks press are kept to the outside. Korchinski can't bury one in close, but then on a rush, Chicago gets on the board. It's Blackwell scoring from Tkachuk and Megna at 17:03. So there you go, their waiver wire pickup, and Jacob Megna on the board. 2:50 left. The Hawks draw themselves a power play. So that's shortly after the goal by like 7 seconds. That power play is killed off. It's 2-1 Rangers after 2. Third period, Dickinson had a wraparound that's blocked. Miller to Lafreniere. There's a near miss there. Panarin has a shot go high. And then at 1:29, Trouba. It's a sharp angle shot that just fools Mrazek. The assist to Panarin and Trocheck there makes it 3-1. The Hawks look to answer, but puck goes the other way. And VC scores from Cooley and Schneider at 2:38. Rangers press for more. Lafreniere gets denied on a net drive. We get a power play for the Rangers, which lasts 17 seconds, becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off. Bonino's denied from the slot, but in the end, the score's 4-1 for the Rangers. They go to 26-10-1 with the victory. Chicago 11-25-2 with the loss. Shots on net favored the Rangers the whole way through. 11-9 in the first, 7-5 in the second, 13-8 in the third. Final shots 31-22 for the Rangers. Power play Chicago 0 for 3, the Rangers 1 for 2. The hits 19-16 Chicago. Mrazek saved 27 out of 31. Shesterkin continues his really strong play lately. 21 saves on 22 shots. So yeah, Mrazek's still solid, but Shesterkin is really showing what he can do yet again. We knew he could. All right, next up, Columbus and Philly. So here's your upset of the night. Tarasov versus Ersson, and Tarasov had one of the better games he's had, I'd say, in his career thus far. Early chances for the Flyers. We get a power play for Philly. That's killed off. The shots are 5-1 for the Flyers 4 minutes in. Jackets draw a power play. That was killed off with no shots, so no momentum coming out of that. Tippett has a shot that's held. Marchenko had a blast that was blocked. It's cleared out. And then Konechny opens the scoring for Philly. He scores from Farabee and Couturier at 17-12. He taps that one in. It was a backdoor pass, and he got it. So 2:15 left. The Flyers go to the power play. It's a 5-on-3 as well, but it's killed off 5 shots during that 5-on-3 power play. Chicago, the power play for Philadelphia is hurting them. It is costing them games, even though they're up 1-0 after the first. Second period, early press by the Flyers. There's a near miss for Tippett on a 2-on-1. The shots are 2-1 for the Flyers at 3.5 minutes. Power play for Columbus. That's killed off, but Columbus has some momentum coming out of that. Flyers press at 9.5 minutes with a minute and a half left, minute 32 left. Columbus with a power play. So that rolls over into the third period. But it's 28 seconds of 4-on-4 to start because there was a penalty at the end of the second period. Everything gets killed off. It doesn't matter. Shots are 3-0 Flyers at 3 minutes. At 4:28, Konechny scores from Farabee and Couturier. It's 2-0 for the Flyers. So it's Columbus. It's 2-0. That should be the game. However, after burying that one on a net drive by Konechny, Severson would score at 5:24 to get Columbus on the board. Fantilli and Christensen with the assists. Power play for Columbus, that's killed off, but Columbus does tie it at 10:20. It's Roslovic. We then get another power play for Columbus, that's killed off. Sillinger has a rush chance, that's held. And then we had a post for Sillinger. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, Columbus 3-8, Philadelphia 6-5 past 60 minutes. So these teams no strangers to going past 60. Teams trade turnovers. Columbus sets up. The crowd boos. The Flyers take over. They cycle. Couturier to Sanheim near miss. Columbus looked like they were holding on for the last shot. However, it's Philly that gets the last shot. Doesn't really matter. We're going to a shootout. In the shootout, it's Johnny Gaudreau with the winner. So your final score is a 3-2 shootout victory for Columbus. They go to 13-19-8 with the win. With the shootout loss, Philadelphia 19-13-6 on the season. Shots on goal favored Philly almost the whole way. 14-6 in the first, 13-8 in the second, 13-12 in the third. Columbus outshoots them 2-1 in the overtime. Final shots 41-28 for Philadelphia. Power plays Columbus 0-5, Philadelphia 0-4, and including that long 5-on-3. Hits 20-15 Philadelphia. Tarasov saved 39 out of 41. Ersson had another solid game, though. 26 saves on 28 shots. So, yeah, there's that one. Last one on this board is Colorado and Dallas. And again, not saying anything bad about Wedgwood. He has played a lot of games, a lot of hockey. Really hope Ottinger's back soon. So it's Georgiev versus Wedgwood. The shots are 6-4 for Dallas, 4 minutes in. So it was a very wide open game to start. Power play for the Avs. That's killed off. The Stars press with 9 minutes left. The Avs block. They clear. There's a near miss for Girard. The Stars clear. And then on a turnover, Dodonov scores at 11:57 to make it 1-0. But it doesn't stay 1-0 for long. At 13:44, it's McKinnon from Wood and Jack Johnson. So it's a 1-1 tie. We then get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. Ben's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. The Stars press in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period. At 1:28, Sagan scores from Duchesne. So Dallas with a lead there. The Stars press at 3 minutes. We get a power play for Dallas. That's killed off. We get a 4-minute power play for the Stars, and during the first 2 minutes of that 4-minute power play, they score. It's Pavelski, because of course it is, from Duchesne and Heiskanen at 10:10. The Avs then kill off the second penalty. Press by Colorado, kept to the outside. The Stars press with 4.5 minutes left. Things get pushy on a hold by Georgiev. 1:43 left. The Avs get a power play, and they score on this one. Avs power play is just too deadly. Drouin scores from Taves and McKinnon at 19:48. Nice to see Jonathan Drouin's offensive numbers have gotten better. So after 2 periods of play, the score is 3-2 for Dallas. Third period, Manson has a shot that's caught and held. Wood gets denied on a rush. The Avs press at 7 minutes. Stars press right back the next shift, and then at 9:07 they get the insurance goal. Sagan scores from Marchment. Things should be good. However, at 9:45, Colorado gets it back. Drouin deflects one in. Jack Johnson with another assist on that one. So now it's 4-3. Makar's denied. The Stars rush. The Stars press are kept to the outside. The Avs press. Nearly tie it with 2.5 minutes left, and then they do tie it at 18:51. It's Rantanen from O'Connor and Makar. So it's 4-4. We're going to overtime. Avs control early in the overtime. Nichushkin has a chance that's held. The Stars set up. Sagan misses it. The Avs take over. Duchesne gets denied when the Stars have it. Puck goes the other way. McKinnon scores from Taves at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Colorado wins this one in overtime 5-4. They go to 25-11-3 with the win. Dallas with the overtime loss 22-10-5. Shots on net 12-9 Colorado in the first, 13-7 Dallas in the second, 12-9 Colorado in the third. In the overtime 3-1 for Colorado. Hits, or the overall shots are 34-32 for Colorado. Power plays, both teams 1 for 3. Now hits 21-16 in favor of Colorado. Georgiev saved 28 out of 32. Wedgwood 29 saves on 34 shots. And again, hope Ottinger's about ready. It's time to give Wedgwood a little bit of rest. He's played a lot of hockey. So that being said, need to change boards. For anybody wondering why I have to keep pausing, it's because I was carrying around Cinnabon a bit before doing this video. It's a bad idea. You get rabbit fur all over you. You can't even see it. So Tampa Bay and Minnesota, Vasilevsky versus Fleury, as Fleury continues to try to catch Patrick Waugh. He's 1 win short. Hartman exits on a Jeannot hit. He would come back. Shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. The Bolts press at 5.5 minutes. A net feed to Maroon gets picked off. We have a power play for the Wild. That was killed off, just the 1 shot. Tampa Bay then gets a power play. That was killed off as well, also with 1 shot on net during that. Shots are 5-3 Tampa with 6.5 minutes left. Tampa presses with 2 minutes left. With 1:46 left, they draw a power play. They don't score during that 146, so it rolls over into the second period where the Wild finished the kill. They didn't allow a shot. So things are good for Minnesota to this point. Hagel has a chance that's blocked. It's cleared. Shots are 3-1 for the Bolts at 4 minutes, and then at 4:31 on a rush, Radish. He scores from Glendenning. It's post and in. And then at 6:59, it's Radish from Sherry and Mott. So Radish had himself a game. We had a fight between Watson and Maroon. It was a pretty good tilt. Bolts press at 9 minutes. Hartman has a rush chance to save. But yeah, it's 2-0 Tampa Bay after 2 periods. Third period, Tampa Bay gets an early power play and they score on it. At 2 minutes, it's Hedman with a blast through a screen. Kucherov and Paul with the assists on that. Tampa Bay then looks for another. The Wild press at 4.5 minutes. Rossi fires one wide on a rush. The shots on net are 5-3 Tampa, 8.5 minutes in. The Wild press. Rossi has a shot that's held. Jeannot had a sharp angle shot that was held. At 15:39, Bogosian, kind of out of nowhere, he gets the goal from Goligoski and Hartman. It's a wrister from the right circle, and just it fooled Vasilevsky. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left. With 51.8 seconds left, the Wild call a timeout. At 19:19, Hagel hits the empty net to ruin whatever they discussed. Your final score is 4-1 for Tampa Bay. They go to 19-16-5 on the season. Minnesota's back below NHL 500 at 16-17-4. Shots on net 7-6 Tampa in the first, 13-9 Tampa in the second, 10-8 Tampa in the third. Final shots 30-23 for the Lightning. Power plays Tampa 1 for 3, Minnesota 0 for 1. The hits 21-15 Minnesota. Vasilevsky saved 22 out of 23. Fleury saved 26 out of 29. And with all the injuries and everything going on with Minnesota, it just feels like the coaching bump they got when John Hines took over, that's pretty much done at this point. So, yeah, and that does happen. And again, with the injuries, we'll see how Minnesota navigates things from here. All right, next up, Calgary and the Nashville Predators. So, Vladar versus Saros in this one. There's early jump for Calgary. In fact, they end up drawing themselves a power play, and they score on it. At 4:45, it's Zary from Sharon Govich and Anderson. And then at 5:12, Coleman puts one in off Saros' glove via Roman Josi. So it double banks into the net. Coleman with that goal from Backlund. It's 2-0. Nashville, though, they get some pressure of their own, and they score. Forsberg from O'Reilly and Nyquist at 6:09. Then at 7:57, Nazem Kadri gets in on the action. It's 3-1. We're not even 8 minutes into the game. And I was thinking, okay, so this one's going to be the same as the Boston game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So there's a near miss for Lindholm on a rush. The Flames press with 7.5 minutes left. At 15:50, Nashville does get within a goal. It's Sissons from Fabro and Josi. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The referee is informed that in terms of the meter of suckage, he is not at 0. He might be at 100, but he's definitely not at 0. Then during the 4-on-4, which I'm sure made the fans happier, Rasmus Andersson scores from Zary at 18:44. It's 4-2 Calgary after 1. The same score we saw between Pittsburgh and Boston, where it was 4-2 for Pittsburgh in Boston after 1. Second period, power play for Calgary. There's a shorthanded Trennan chance that's defended. We end up with 48 seconds of 4-on-4. Forsberg fires one high during the power play for Nashville. Everything gets killed off. The shots are 9-2, though, for Calgary with 9.5 minutes left. McCarron fires one wide on a rush. Things get punchy. With 7:17 left, the Flames come out with a power play. Sharon Govich gets denied. That power play's killed off. And then Tomasino on a rush out of the box. He ends up missing one wide. Things get punchy with 1:07 left. It's a chippy game. And at 19:58, just before the buzzer, Hanifin scores from Mangiapane and Coleman, making it 5-2 for Calgary after 2. But at 2:15 into the third period, it gets interesting because the puck was going wide. Vladar puts it into his own net, trying to bank it to the corner. It's a goal from McCarron from Tomasino and Novak, makes it 4-3, or 5-3, I should say. Preds look for another. The shots are 6-3 Nashville at 5.5 minutes. Novak fires one wide from the slot. But at 14:04, Sharon Govich scores for Calgary from Lindholm. That makes it 6-3. Shortly after that, Gilbert is down. It's a 5-minute penalty for Tomasino. He did get up with some help. He skated gingerly off. I hope Gilbert's all right. It didn't look good. It is a 5-minute penalty for Tomasino. It's a slew foot. So expect the Department of Player Safety to do something tomorrow because it's a slew foot. Also, this is the last matchup between Nashville and Calgary for the regular season. So, yeah, the 5 minutes for the slew foot. I mean, Nashville does kill off that 5-minute penalty, but there's only 30 seconds left in the game. So basically, that 5-minute penalty for Tomasino it ruined any chances Nashville had of a heroic comeback. Your final score is 6-3 Calgary. They go to 17-16-5 with the win. Nashville 21-17-1 with the loss. Shots on net favored Calgary 11-10 in the first, 14-6 in the second, and then Nashville outshoots them 16-14 in the third. Final shots 39-32 Calgary. Power plays, the Flames 1 for 4, Nashville 0 for 1. The hits 22-20 for Nashville. Vladar saved 29 out of 32. And if not for that goalie put into his own net, honestly, 29 saves on 31 shots. Saros saves 20 out of 25, gets replaced by Lankinen, who saved 13 out of 14. So, yeah, it was an interesting game. I think that kind of understates it, but it was a very interesting game. All right, next up is Vancouver and St. Louis. This was a fast game. This was a really fast game. Like, this was so much faster than the other 5 o'clock starts. Demko versus Binnington, early pressed by the Blues, but at 1:57, Garland puts the Canucks on the board from Bluger and Joshua, so that line continues to produce. Shots are 3-2 for the Blues at 5 minutes. The Canucks got stuck on 2 shots for a while. Toropchenko has a chance that's held. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. Blues press with 4.5 minutes left, however, and even though they're out shooting Vancouver, they're down 1-0 after 1. Second period, shots are 3-1 for the Blues, 2 minutes in. Hughes has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared, and then Parayko gets St. Louis on the board from Thomas and Cairo at 4:22. Blues then press for the lead. However, we get a power play for Vancouver. Near the end of that power play, Hronik fires one high. That power play's killed off. The shots are 5 apiece at the half. We get a power play for St. Louis. There was a shorthanded feed to Teddy Bluger near the miss and near the net, and that was a near miss. Power play's killed off. Bluger then had another opportunity on his next shift. He couldn't bury one in close. Blues press with 2 minutes left, but yeah, it's tied at 1 after 2. Third period, early jump for the Canucks. Neighbors has a chance that's held. Good forechecking by St. Louis. Shen had a 3-on-2 chance that's held. The shots are 4-2 for the Blues at 3 minutes. Teams trade turnovers, and then at 8:03, Thomas gets the second goal for St. Louis. Perunovic and Buchnevich with the assists at 8:03 to make it 2-1 for St. Louis. Canucks press to respond. There's a press by the Canucks, but the Blues block. They clear. Goalie pull happens with 3:17 left. Neighbors tries to hit the empty net, but a Canuck stick makes sure that one doesn't go in. Blues are defending well, though. Like, it's not like Vancouver was getting a ton of shots. In the 3:17 with the goalie pulled, they got 1 shot on net, and that was from Besser in the final 30 seconds, and he's not going to score from there. So St. Louis wins this one 2-1. They go to 19-17-1 with the win. Vancouver 24-11-3 with the loss. The good news for Vancouver is the other teams in their division that they would want to see lose tonight did. Shots on net, 11-9 Vancouver in the first, 10-7 Vancouver in the second, 11-10 Vancouver in the third. Final shots 32-26 for the Canucks. Power plays, final shots were 32-26 in favor of St. Louis. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 1, St. Louis 0 for 2. I flipped them. Darn it. So yeah, all the periods the shots favored St. Louis. 11-9, 10-7, 11-10. It happens, 13 games. Hits 17-11 for St. Louis. Demko saves 30 out of 32. Binnington saved 25 out of 26. Both goalies played very, very well in this game. In the end, Vancouver just did not have what they needed to in order to tie the game up. All right, moving along. The Islanders in Arizona. Boy, the Islanders came out. This is one of the best games the Islanders have played in a while. So Sorokin versus Ingram, good early back and forth, but the shots are 5-1 for the New York Islanders, 4.5 minutes in. Aho tried to bank one in off Ingram, getting creative. Coyotes press at 7.5 minutes, but we get a power play for the Islanders, and they score on it. It's Horvat. He scores from Dobson and Nelson at 7:56. It took 11 seconds for them to score on that power play. The Islanders press for another. Eventually, they get it. At 12:02, Riley scores one from Barzal and Horvat. It's 2-0 Islanders. Shots are 8-6 for New York with 5 minutes left. The Islanders press with 3.5 minutes left. They emerge from that first period with a 2-0 lead. Second period, power play for the Coyotes. There's a shorthanded rush by Pajot. That gets held. There's some pushing that goes on. Cooley's denied. We end up with 10 seconds of 5-on-3. And right after the 5-on-3 ended, Schmaltz scores from Dursey and Kerfoot at 3:29, making it 2-1 in favor of the Islanders. Bjugstad fires one wide on a turnover, and Arizona ends up killing off the 5-on-4. Shots are 8-3 for the Coyotes at 8 minutes, so it's a very good period for Arizona there. Cizikas to Engvall near miss. Cizikas then had a breakaway. He just lost the handle on the puck there. O'Brien has a rush that's defended. Krause had a rush chance that was blocked by Aho without taking a penalty. It remains 2-1 for the Islanders after 2. Third period. Nelson has a near miss and close. The teams exchange rushes, but then at 4:28, Lee on a turnover buries one from Barzell, as the Islanders were not going to be denied tonight. At 5:22, they add another. Gauthier on the rush, wires one. Holmstrom with the assist. Julien Gauthier been hot lately. That makes it 4-1. The Islanders press for another. The shots are 7-1 New York, 8.5 minutes in. And at 13:05, it's a turnover. It's a 2-0 break, and Horvat just decides, I'll do it myself. He scores unassisted. That's 2 goals and an assist for Bo Horvat tonight. Power play for the Islanders then. That's killed off, but it takes another 2 minutes off the clock. The Islanders hold on, win this one 5-1. And by saying hold on, they won the game. They go to 18-10-10 with the win. Arizona 19-16-2 with the loss. Shots on net 11-9 New York in the first, 13-8 Arizona in the second, 14-4 New York in the third. They outshoot Arizona 31-26. Both teams go 1 for 2 on the power play. The hits 22-17 in favor of New York. Sorokin saved 25 out of 26. Ingram saved 26 out of 31. So I need to change boards. All right, last board for tonight, I promise. Ottawa and Seattle. The Sens' misery continues. And for Seattle, it looks like Joey Dacord's pretty good. And Dacord, of course, formerly a Senators goalie, so might be a little bit awkward. But anyways, it wouldn't be. Korpisalo versus Dacord in this one. Early Senators power play, that's killed off. Or Seattle power play, I should say, is killed off. Then we get a power play for the Sens. We get 17 seconds of 5-on-3. There's a shorthanded clear by Gord, and then he forechecked as well to prevent Ottawa from setting up early. Everything gets killed off. Really good kill. Sens press after it ends, but on a turnover, Yanni Gord scores to put Seattle on the board. Tolvanen with the assist at 9:50, so he buries a rebound there. It's 1-0 Seattle. Shots are 12-6 for Ottawa with 5 minutes left. The Kraken press in the final minute. They end up drawing a power play with 44 seconds left, so that rolls over into the second period. Burakovsky to Eberle, there's a near miss. Korpisalo holds the next chance for Burakovsky. The Sens finish the kill. We get a press by the Sens at 2 minutes. The shots, though, are 5-4 Seattle at 5.5 minutes. The Kraken press are kept to the outside. Teams exchange rushes. The Kraken press at 8 minutes. We get a power play for Ottawa. There's an arm save on Chychrun. Power play's killed off. And then on a really nice deke in close, Thomas Tatar, who's really liking it in Seattle, he scores from Eberle at 15:21. Kraken press for another. Beniers fires one wide. The Sens clear. And then at 19:04, Burakovsky scores from Yamamoto. So that's his first goal in a while. Kraken look for another. And yeah, it's 3-0 after 2, and they have all the momentum in the world. Third period, there's an early press by Seattle, but Ottawa presses at 3.5 minutes. Stützle fires one wide. The Kraken rush. We get a power play for the Sens. Giroux to Schmeichel. Near miss there. That power play's killed off. 8 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 for Ottawa. Stützle fans on one as the Sens press. Stützle's really fighting it right now. In terms of getting goals, something's got to happen here. They have to work with him because it feels like part of it's psychological now with Stützle, just his body language. Kraken get pinned down with 9 minutes left. Eventually, though, Ottawa does score. Parker Kelly. He deflects one in. Shabbat and Kubalik with the assists at 12:21. They pull the goalie with 3:50 left. However, at 17:47, Vince Dunn from his own goal line, he puts one in. Eberle with the assist on that. Seattle wins this one 4-1. They go to 16-14-9 with the win. For Ottawa, they're 14-20 with the loss. Shots on net 13-7 Ottawa in the first, 15-13 Seattle in the second, 7-6 Ottawa in the third. Final shots 33-28 for the Sens. Power plays, Ottawa 0-4, Seattle 0-2. The hits 13-7 Ottawa. Korpisalo saved 24 out of 27. Dacord saved 32 out of 33. He had a shutout streak of 158 minutes, somewhere around there. So it's definitely a career high for him. And yeah, Dacord's playing really well right now. All right, Florida and Vegas. Also a surprise in this one. Florida's been playing really well, though. One thing with the power rankings board is, updating it daily. There's teams that I go, that's unusual. I didn't think they were that high. And tonight I had that experience with Florida. So it's Bobrovsky versus Thompson. So if you're a Panthers fan, you're like, when's Saturday? Montour fires one wide, and at 3:59, Dorofeev buries a rebound. Stone with the assist. It's actually 1-0 Vegas. Things get pushy on a Thompson hold. The shots, though, are 4-1 Vegas at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for Vegas. That's killed off. Then there's a toe save on Marchessault. We get a power play for Florida, and they score. And this is the big story tonight. Bennett scores from Ekman Larson and Ekblad at 14:15. Panthers go back to the power play. That was killed off. The shots have evened up at this point, though. Florida really getting back into the game late in the period, and it's 1-1 after one. Second period, early power play for Vegas. It becomes 40 seconds of 5-on-3, and then it becomes a minute and 21 seconds of 5-on-3. So a lot of it. So during the 5-on-3, it's just not working. So Bruce Cassidy calls a timeout during the second 5-on-3, and to kind of talk to them about what they're doing wrong, but Florida still kills it all off. We had a fight between Bennett and White Cloud. Florida comes out of that with a power play, and they score on it. Tkachuk from Montour and Reinhardt at 6:15. He tips that one in on a good cycle. Tkachuk has started to get goals. Panthers press for another. The shots are 6-1 for the Panthers at 8 minutes. Tkachuk has a rush chance that's saved. Good forechecking by the Panthers too. Like, Vegas was pinned down a lot in this, and at the very least there weren't any easy pucks for Vegas tonight. Florida kind of played a Vegas game in Vegas. So the Panthers go back to the power play. That was killed off. Vegas then gets some pressure after. The Panthers get pinned down a bit. They're forced to ice it. It looks like Vegas is potentially going to tie it. And then at 18:38, Verhaeghe against the flow of play. He scores from Forsling and Montour. It's 3-1 Florida after two. But again, it's Vegas, right? So you expect the comeback. Third period, Luostarinen has a rush chance. That's held. Barkov and Rodriguez got hurt in the first period. They did not return the rest of the game. Just makes it more remarkable what Florida's able to do in this. Cotter has a net feed that's picked off. The shots are 2-1 for Florida at 4 minutes. Tkachuk with a near miss, but Florida ends up on the power play coming off of that, and Reinhardt would score on that power play at 5:23 from Tkachuk and Verhaeghe. Buries it on a good cycle, makes it 4-1. Panthers go back to the power play. That's killed off. There's a power play for Vegas. That's killed off as well. 5:52 left. Vegas with another power play, and Florida with another kill. Lomberg and Haig were unfriendly, so we have 4-on-4 to finish things out. But yeah, Florida goes into Vegas and wins for the first time in their history in Vegas. 4-1. They go to 24-12-2. Really solid record for Florida now. Vegas 22-12-5 with the loss. Shots on net 13-12 Vegas in the first, 14-5 for Florida in the second, 10-9 Florida in the third. Final shots 36-27 for the Panthers. Power plays, Florida 3 for 6, Vegas 0 for 6. So that really is your story right there. Hits 20-13 Florida. Bobrovsky 26 saves on 27 shots. Thompson saved 32 out of 36. So very entertaining game though. All right, moving along to Detroit and LA. Went to a shootout. I had a feeling one of them would. So it's Lyon versus Riddick, and it looked like Alex Lyon was in for a really rough night early because the first shot beats him. Kempe tips one in close. Laferriere and Dubois with the assists at 150. And then on their fourth shot, LA makes it 2-0. It's buried on a rush by Roy, Kopitar, and Byfield with the assists at 4:18. So it's 2-0 for LA. Wings press for response. The shots are 7-5 in favor of the Kings at 8.5 minutes. Raymond DeLarkin, there's a near miss with 5 minutes left. Lyon's making his money now. The shots are 16-7 for LA with 5 minutes left. Kempe fans on a shot on a 2-on-1 rush. DeBrincat then fires one wide from the slot. It's 2-0 LA after one. Second period, Larkin has a chance that's saved. Really good start for Detroit. You could tell things were a little different than in the first. Sider fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 4-1 for the Wings at 5 minutes. We get a power play for Detroit, or for the Kings, I should say. I knew with Wings and Kings, eventually I would see Wings where there's Kings. It was a power play for the Kings. Doughty's denied from the slot. That's killed off, and then Detroit gets on the board. Fabry buries one in close. Mata and Sprong with the assists at 9:59, so almost exactly halfway through the game. Kings look to respond. Grundstrom has a rush chance. That's held. The shots are 9-5 for the Kings with 7.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. But a screenshot ends up tying the game. Petrie scores from Larkin and Veleno at 17:21. It's a 2-2 tie. Wings press for the lead, but there's a press by the Kings as well in the final minute. And so it's tied going into the third. Full Kings power play to start the third period. And that's killed off by Detroit. Just the one shot. We then get a power play for the Wings. A shorthanded Danault chance was held. And then just after the power play ends, Detroit does score. Fabry with his second of the game puts Detroit ahead. Sprong and Kane with the assists at 5:24. Dubois then has a chance to deflect out as the Kings press. Roy fires one wide on a rush. The fans call one. The referee does not. But at 15:43, all's well anyways, because Kempe does score after all those chances he had that wouldn't go in. This one does. Dubois and Laferriere with the assists. So Laferriere with 2 helpers in this game. Kempe with 2 goals. And he could have had 4 tonight. Laferriere's then denied and close. The Kings would press in the final minute, but we're going to overtime. Kings control early. Larkin steals one. The Wings set up. DeBrincat fires one high on a break. Kempe is denied and close. And DeBrincat was denied when he was in all alone. We're going to the shootout. In the shootout, both Raymond and Kane score, and so your final score is 4-3 in a shootout for Detroit. They go to 19-16-4 with the win. For the Kings, 29-6 with the shootout loss. Shots on net, 17-8 LA in the first, 13-11 LA in the second, 10-6 LA in the third, and they outshoot Detroit in the overtime, 3-1. Final shots, 43-26 for LA. Both teams go 0 for 2 on the power play. Hits, 16-9 for Detroit. Lions saved 40 out of 43. Riddick saved 23 out of 26. So, yeah, Lyon, after allowing 2 goals on the first 4 shots, he did very well with the other 39. All right, and last game of the night, that's right, there's an end. Winnipeg and San Jose. I was so nervous. And actually, at one point during the game, my wife said to me, she said, you jinxed him. You did the video, you jinxed him. We were kidding, but I knew that if Winnipeg lost this game, there'd be a lot of see you jinxed them by doing the video on them. And then by saying in the preview this morning that, well, they're not going to lose to San Jose again. So it's Hellebuck versus Blackwood. The Jets had the only shot on net 2.5 minutes in. There's a press by the Jets of 4.5 minutes. They don't get shots out of it, though. The Jets press at 7.5 minutes. They're controlling it. They're not getting that many prime opportunities at this stage. Sharks get pinned down. They were exhausted. Schmidt's then denied. There's more pressure. The shots are 6-1 for the Jets at 9 minutes. It felt like it could have been a lot more, though. Blackwood was really becoming the story at this point, too. So when the Jets got that pressure, he was stopping them. Sharks press with 4 minutes left. Velarde then can't bury one in close. It's scoreless after 1. Second period, post for Zadina on a rush, and you start to get that feeling of, so is it a trap game? Granlund has a one-timer that's held the Sharks with some momentum early in this. Ferraro has a net drive that's defended. The Jets then press at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Sharks. There's a post for Granlund. It's cleared. It's killed off, but San Jose does get on the board. It's Barabanov with a one-timer from the slot. Eklund and Emerson with the assists at 10:26, so 1-0 San Jose. More tight checking by the Sharks, but at 11:45, Barron answers. He scores from Pionk and Dillon. The Jets press with 7 minutes left. There was more pressure from the Jets with 4 minutes left, but again, they're not getting a ton of shots. They only had 7 shots in that second period, despite all the offensive zone time they had. So you go to the third period, tied at 1. Early press by Winnipeg. The Jets draw a power play. There's a net feed to Velarde that gets blocked. Iafallo's denied. Morrissey as well. And then late in the power play, they score. It's Velarde from Ehlers and Scheifele at 3:13. He buries that one in close. So Gabe Velarde gets that goal there. And that was the only power play the Jets had, but they scored on it, so they were very economical with their chances. So the Jets press for another. Sandberg has a shot that's held. Lowry had a shot kicked aside. The shots are 10-4 for Winnipeg at 6.5 minutes. Strong forechecking by the Jets, but we get a power play for San Jose. Zetterlund has a tip shot that's held. That's killed off, but then the Sharks are pressuring after it ends. Emberson breaks up a 2-on-1 for the Jets. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left. Granlund had a net drive that was defended. The Jets hold on. They win this one 2-1. They go to 24-9-4 with the win. San Jose 9, 27-3 with the loss. I believe that's 10 in a row for San Jose. So, yeah, I think it is. Shots on net 10-6 Winnipeg in the first, 10-7 San Jose in the second, 13-12 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 30-28 for Winnipeg. Power plays, Winnipeg scores on the only one they had. San Jose 0 for 2. Hits 16-8 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saved 27 out of 28. You know what you're getting with Hellebuck. Good goaltending. And Blackwood, also pretty good night for him. 28 saves on 30 shots. So it was a goalies duel. Let me know your thoughts about these games in the comments section below. As always, don't hold a rabbit before you do a video that's long-winded like this one, or you're going to have rabbit fur all over your face the whole video. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.